What do you say to me?
Artichokes? What the fuck did you just call me?
So, you're still down here in the cave. You've purified the water. You have the diseased body. What's now?
Well, we still have the inherent corruption in the system to deal with.
Yeah.
And we don't have the magic to deal with that at the moment.
Just because a halfling says they're a town official doesn't make them a town official.
That's true.
That's something.
Especially in a town where they have no town officials.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
I've tried to investigate into that before to no avail.
Probably someone who thinks they're a town official. Like, thinks of themselves as one.
Well, I guess the real question is, why would someone who's a town official poison the water? For what purpose?
Control?
But to, like, control to what end?
Rue it.
Why are the people from Goldport here? Why
With
is
your-
the thing of Goldport happening?
With your holy magic,
Mm-hmm.
given rest and time to prepare, could you talk to the spirit of whoever this is? I point to the dead body.
I was told that you have to be familiar with the person when they go into the afterlife in order for me to be able to reach them. So, at this stage, no. I can't even contact Althea. And I was far more familiar with her. So, no, unfortunately, I cannot. You said this person didn't quite look human.
Yep.
I want to.
You can give me a medicine check to observe the body.
Yeah. 25.
Looking at it, it takes you a bit of time. You know, you unwrap it while you're taking a moment to sort of rest and think. The arms are long and strange, and there's growths on them. The face doesn't make sense. The legs almost look broken until it connects that this is actually a bird creature, an Aarakocra. Of course, it doesn't really resemble that because there's no feathers left. But you notice something much more interesting as well. A series of numbers branded into one of the forearms. It looks like a code.
Aarakocra. This number set here. Code of some kind? Might be something that we need to investigate.
What is an hour, that thing you just said?
They are. Do you remember when we were in the Shadow and there was that bird guard? Similar-ish to that, to some extent. Bird.
You probably have like a picture of them in because you've met them before. They exist in the mountains, so you probably have like a sketch you've done of them in your book before.
I'm probably like saying that as I'm explaining and rifling through my bag.
Flick.
Hold on. This is the old book. This is the South Stella book. I don't use this one anymore. Here, and I show you Burwood's not a terrible artist. He's not an amazing artist either.
He's a writer.
Yeah.
So there are bird people.
It's enough for you to get a suggestion of what the creature would have looked like.
Yeah. Looking at that, looking at the body, looking at that.
No feathers anymore. Looks different. But are the series of numbers branded on, tattooed on?
Branded on.
Where do these people come from?
There are some of them in the mountains.
They're kind of all over. They're a race of beast folk, so they're kind of all over the place. They do have a form of culture, but rarely make villages or anything. In fact, in some cultures, they kind of live with elves, and you've definitely had very simple meetings with them. They're just simple kind of tribal people. So mountains, the forests near here, the beaches in some places, depending on their breed. And actually, given that, It actually looks like a breed of Aarakocra you've only ever seen on the east side of the mountains.
Do they have peculiar diseases in the east side of the mountains? Why this person in particular?
You are usually told not to explore the lands east of the mountains as a child. Growing
They're
up.
dangerous. I know that, but I don't know why. You know, was told not to go somewhere by people for reasons of
Of course,
our
meant
safety,
you've done it.
which, yeah, but I'm not telling them that right now. You know, so I don't know why they're particularly dangerous. Ollie, why are they particularly dangerous? Do I know?
Give me a religion roll.
All right.
With advantage.
All right. That is a 19, sir.
You have... In your culture, it's just really... I mean, the mountain elves stay to the mountains. You can go on the east side of the mountains, but leaving the mountains, even to go to Palmoro, is not unallowed, it's just ill-advised. What you have met when you've occasionally met with the Phoenix Bloods are a tribe of humans who live atop Mount Birth, the tallest mountain in the mountain range. They claim that the land east of the mountains is the birthplace of demons. You always thought that was quite flowery text, like a flowery religious description. But now, thinking back on it, sounds a little less flowery now that you know that demons very much do exist.
Yeah. From some of the cultures that I've met on Zalstella, they indicate that east of the mountains is the birthplace of demons. What are your thoughts on that, Nix?
I mean, can I see that map again?
I show him. Right here would be east of the mountains.
Oh, birthplace, no. There are a lot of demons. We're created by your sins and some such. I, literally cannot talk about that. And I'm sorry. This is beyond me.
Beyond you. In other words...
Do you not know, or are you incapable?
I am incapable. It's my job to know things. I know a lot of things.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Information is a premium. You can lock it away.
What exactly is making you incapable?
You see,
That's
you ask enough
probably-
questions around the area, you kind of figure out the area, so I'm just going to give you a big old no. Because here's the thing, I'm working for you. If I start blabbing, I mean, I've already told you a lot of things mortals aren't really supposed to know. I mean, people have figured it out, of course, but
It sounds like a deal or a contract that outdates ours.
Yes.
Am I on the right path?
Would that thing
More or
we do
less.
with the sword and making them tell truth, would that work?
I don't know if I want to. It might end up hurting him.
No, we
Also,
don't want to hurt Nix.
if
What
I
do you make
do speak this kind of thing, and that would be very hard for me to do, I'm probably going to get destroyed. And here's the thing, you kill me, I go back to the Hells. The Hells kill me, I cease to be. So I kind of want to avoid that.
Of course, and I'm not asking you to tell us something that you are incapable of telling us. I just more... What I am looking for is whether or not going there is suicide.
It won't be suicide. Like, unless this is a demonic disease, it's probably not connected.
It's not demonic, because I can sense those things.
Big old coincidence, probably.
Burwood kind of shakes his head a little bit, and there's very little in life that's coincidence, but the notion...
But just because it's not demonic in origin itself doesn't mean...
that the disease didn't originate there.
Yes.
Now, someone who would know about that, someone who would utilize that, and someone who would bring that to a city.
Right away, Barut, Aarakocra do not have the intelligence for metalworking, so they wouldn't have branded themselves.
That's one of the things that he's avoiding right now because he knows that they live with elves. And there's always a possibility of...
The letters are common. The numbers are common.
Okay.
They're in
Less
common.
likely to be elves, then. Okay. Well, then with that in mind, I would actually bring it up and say branding isn't usually something that one does to oneself.
Then we're back to the idea that these things were imbued with the disease in some way and then brought here, potentially.
Or that they had contracted the disease and brought here.
Yeah.
Either way. They're not really metal workers. My point about Goldport, who is benefiting? That's the question that should always come to mind when you see something not right. So who is benefiting from this?
The priests of Goldport
So
are benefiting from this.
They are.
But do we know enough about this how to make that call? Are other people benefiting?
Don't at this point know. And that is what we need to figure out, is who benefits from this plague. We need to ask around about who's been very helpful during the plague and who's been providing resources that otherwise might not be able to be provided, and what shipments, does Goldport make here, and who is making those shipments, because that might be a connection to Goldport. Now, they would probably run through Tron. And there are some people who maybe keep a little bit better track of shipments of high value coming through ports than others. And I'm not necessarily referring to port officials. We may want to have a discussion with our friend, Captain Blackfur. Sorry, you all looked at me blankly and I wasn't sure if you were following.
I mean, we have so many friends, it's hard to keep track.
Right, but I wasn't sure if you understood.
We're very
that
well liked.
Describing was a pirate who would keep track of shipments of value so that they could rob them and then, sell those goods and profit.
We get
I
it.
understand how slavery
I
works,
know you
but
get it, Nix. That's all right. You know what? But that's another question. Is there is a culture of slavery that exists
Here?
in Tron. I don't know much about it. Just in passing, I was told about that, and not to get in debt there when I was traveling through.
Where is this?
Pull the map away from Nix. You might.
It's almost like it's not exactly, but it is between Zalstellar as a continent and the mainland of Jarviskjir. You would just stop there on the way just for the sake of land and restock
resources.
Yeah.
You see, Barut, this is why I don't like local cultures and customs, because this is clearly a local culture and custom, and this is bullshit.
Not all the people in a culture agree with the cultural decisions being made on the whole, and judging an entire culture by the cultural decisions made by the people who are in control and in power is unbefitting, especially of someone who would like to actually help people.
That seems like such a gray, malleable line.
those
Really
people
is
have to get in
odd.
power somehow.
Yes, those people get in power through the manipulation and the subjugation of the people below them.
Then where do you draw the line at respecting a culture if you don't think that these are... Is it just your own opinion? Which one
No.
should be honored and which one shouldn't be?
Absolutely not. There's guidance.
Majority reals?
No, absolutely not. There is basic decency to species. There's basic decency to anything. There is a saying among the people of mine who agree with me that we shouldn't just sit on the mountain and stay away from everybody else. The people you should be kind to are the same people that you would first be likely to raise your sword to. You need to see from their eyes, you need to understand from their perspective, and maybe they're still wrong. But until you look at it from their side, you cannot know.
Nah, I don't agree.
I know you don't. That's why both of us are here, and both of us can keep calm heads and assess situations, because every situation is subjective. I don't disagree that killing that hobgoblin was that was the worst way I've ever said that type of name. That hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin. It's like how I would say it.
Was a bad decision. I think that it was a good decision. I think it could have been done at a better time, because I think we could have rooted out potentially who had hired him if we brought him into the town square, given that the person clearly thought they were a person of importance, and if they were a person of importance, they're going to be at something like that, and then we could have seen the reactions of the people of the crowd and maybe gotten more information and maybe had
Eric
better
looks at the
direction.
device, just like, okay,
Do better.
again.
Just start leaving. Just start making your way out of the cave.
Just walking over the spider corpses.
Mhm.
Like,
We've rested at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get going.
Yeah, we'll start walking.
You can make your way up to the surface. I'm gonna need everyone to give me athletics checks to get out of the well.
I am bringing the body.
Of the hobgoblin, the head or body or both.
No, the
Oh,
body of.
with the head.
Oh yeah, no, I assumed you were bringing the
Just wasn't sure if that was
We
going to
haven't
affect my
worked-
the
Oh, that's
vector
dead.
of infection.
Yeah,
We left a rope there, didn't we?
Yes.
we did.
Okay, so it's with advantage?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Going down easier going up. You also have to basically
'Cause I'm-
half drown yourself.
Can I do acrobatics?
No,
Okay.
Because I'm lugging a body, do I have disadvantage?
it's very light at this point. It's
Okay.
it's like bones and sinew.
Okay.
You'll
Better
make
than
it out.
expected.
It's more awkward going up. The rope does massively help. You can kind of just pull yourself along the rope until you get out of the water and then just pull yourself out of the tunnel. It's very, very early morning when you get up. The kind of time when most people aren't awake yet.
Is the guard still standing there?
Yes. He's got a mug of something and his eyes are very heavy. He's sitting on like some of the fixings of the fountain. And when like the first person comes up, who's probably Tobias, he's like, finally, kept people away, just like you guys said. Hope everything went okay. I would quite like to go back to my missus.
Dude, you're good. The water's fixed.
Yeah,
Everything's
you're welcome.
set.
It will
Oh,
take
really
a while
soon.
to percolate, probably.
Yeah, that.
We still need to be here to help cure the people who have the disease. And we
Yeah.
will
Can I
figure that out.
go home though?
Yeah, yeah, you can go.
And Bruin
Cheers.
lugs the body out
Yeah.
with his shoulder there at that point, and then like he's still like hanging and like climbing up over with the body. So if the guard notices that, which he probably
No.
won't at this point,
He just turns and just makes his way out of the area.
yeah. Have a good night, and thank you again.
He just
Tell your missus that you're a hero, and that's why you had to be here. You were a party to saving the water hole. Guy sucks.
Helped cure the plague. Okay.
We're
Well-
left with the quiet nighttime streets. What's the
I
plan?
am sitting here.
I think we need to go back to the inn. We're still vulnerable.
Yep. Good
We're
idea.
going to join here in the morning to get their water. We need to tell them what's happened. We need to tell at least the city guard that we will be.
Okay, but here's the thing: the city guard aren't really a city guard. They're a paid militia by, the wealthy few,
Yes.
and could very well, be being paid by the people who.
I
No,
wouldn't
that-
be surprised if they're
if-
being paid by people from Goldport at this point.
If we keep it secret for now, the people aren't going to be affected either way. To be honest, then we have time to investigate. If the people still think that, if the people responsible for this still think that the body is down there poisoning people, we have time before they come up with a new plan.
I think they might have gotten word. People were down in the middle of the fountain.
Got a
The
bug.
bay.
We told the guard, we paid the guard to keep it quiet. I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but
People saw you going down.
There was a rope.
better than just announcing it to everybody.
But they also probably didn't suspect that we were going in there to channel enough holy magic to
Right.
cure the entire
That's-
body of water and remove their trap that they so cleverly hid down there.
I'm not saying it's
Also-
going to buy us much time, but it might buy us some.
I agree.
Bury the
Even
body.
a day.
We need to bury the body. We need a proper mechanism for holding the body so that the disease doesn't then filter into the land. And we need to do that. But anything we put this body down on will be infected. I'm
I
infected.
thought if it was like wrapped, it was fine.
No, I simply told the guard to wrap himself if he was worried about it. That wasn't going to keep him safe from the disease. It just might have made him nicer to the people with the disease.
Oh. Oh.
Sometimes a kindness is not telling people. So you're right, Eleanor. We shouldn't tell them yet.
Maybe we can burn the body.
Burning could work, but the disease was airborne down in the tunnel. I do worry about that. We'd have to contain it. We'd have to do it far away from the city.
Hold on. Question out of game. Can I use laying hands on a corpse to cure the disease?
Can we use purified food and water to purify the
Like,
That's one for the brain box.
well, it's the flavor versus rules, because technically that body is an object.
Yeah.
But I would
Could it be
say
food?
in this situation, considering you have been, this is your entire thing that you've been learning how to do, I would say yes, you can.
I mean, I feel like there's two options where I could heal it as if it were a person with lay on hands, or heal it as if it were an object with like purified food and water. Because you could eat it.
You.
Gross.
I would prefer lay on hands. A little less worrying. A little less Barut's book in his bag.
Anything is food and drink if you're brave enough.
First of all,
Aarakocra tastes just like chicken.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. That's one that Burrowit has not tried.
You say that
Which
with such
one?
urgency, it can
Yeah, you say that like it's an option, and that's worrying.
Well, you have to see about the chef up in the temple.
No one thought it would be something you would have tried until just now.
There are some cultures here that maybe don't always view other peoples as peoples.
You know, I was on the fence before about you guys' whole stupid argument, but now I'm with Eleanor. That's nasty.
Oh, sorry. You think that treating individuals as non-people is wrong? And you're on Eleanor's side when she's
Correct.
discussing goblins whom she's treating them
Goblins
as
aren't
non-people.
individuals.
Well, first
I
of all,
mean,
you're
don't get me. I would kill a human if they did the stuff the goblins did. I'm not going to give the goblins a special pass.
I'm not suggesting you wouldn't. I'm just suggesting
Just
that
because they're
treating
goblins.
their species wholeheartedly as
I mean, if these
Okay,
goblins
look,
were different from
this
the other
is-
goblins, that'd be one thing. But
this
they're
is
kind
a-
of
You
all
actually
the
see someone like close the shutters on their house as you're
Does
having this
not do
argument
that.
at like
They're arguing in the middle of
6 in the
night.
morning. Yeah.
also, and just to point out, I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
that all peoples are peoples.
We get it. We look. We get it. She gets it. We get your whole thing.
I'm
The
gonna
two of
look
you.
to
We get
Nix
it.
And just be like, he
What?
has a book that he's read about consuming human flesh.
Yes, because it's a very interesting
Suddenly,
book.
everyone goes silent.
you. Nix does keep speaking about something because you don't hear it. He's definitely asking a question. And when you don't reply, he's like, and then just disappears again.
Okay,
That was very rude.
Was very
Nix was
rude.
clearly asking me a
Let's-
question.
get off the street.
Thank you. Vera.
I took the answer as a yes, by the way.
It was probably a no.
Well aware. And you can get back.
Let's
Do you want to
just
go back
get
to
off
the
street
to your
and then
tavern?
talk.
I have a body with me. I can't just walk into a tavern.
Why not?
I mean,
Minor illusion, it's a bag.
so it's a body shaped bag now.
The body bag, if you will.
I have a contract with a bunch of idiots.
I don't want to walk into a
No,
pub
You're carrying a bag now.
with a body-shaped bag.
Could you make it like bigger or like fluffier or something?
Yeah. Like if it was. stuffed with,
What do you want? I mean, as long as it's
Less
like
body shaped.
Yeah.
Ollie, what
Okay.
wildlife are around in the area?
In this area, street dogs.
No, okay, no, not on the city streets, but out in the woods.
Like a
and
deer.
the surrounding area.
It's just about, you know, it's regular ass forest land. Actually, like most of Zalstella, aside from the mountains and east of the mountains, is pretty devoid of like magical beasties. So
I'm looking for just
regular.
like a simple thing that we could have gone and hunted to make this thing look
like a deer or something,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
or,
I'll
or
tell
a
Vera to make it
boar or
look like
something.
a deer. Yeah.
it
as
looks
much
like
as
he's holding a deer over his shoulder now.
that. At least they will be annoyed with, but not question.
That works.
Sure. I mean, I think the bag is fine. This is fine. I don't care. Whatever you need to throw over your shoulder to help you sleep tonight.
I mean, a way to make it seem like not a person, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I don't understand. Anyways.
Let's just
So
conversation in rooms. Let go.
Go back to the tavern. It's very early, so the people who are like manning the first floor like don't. They look questioningly when you bring in a deer, but
As we walk in, I'm just gonna be like, wow, what a hunt that was.
can you give me a performance check?
Am I right, fellas?
Yeah, no, it was a good hunt.
why do you do these things? I'd walk up the stairs.
You go off to your rooms. You sleep away the tiredness. You can wake up in the morning with a bustling town, bustling tavern. Everything is very much alive from the very quiet, albeit dripping caverns down below. It's the whole town's alive, and it's not raining today, which means like there's a nice warm sunlight coming in through your window.
I do have a question. I know that Barua is operating under the assumption that we can't talk with dead creatures via like what he learned from like, the spirit magic, but speak with dead is a third level.
Speak with dead is a
I
separate
do-
spell.
I do have that, but
Is
that's
okay.
something that he.
I want to make sure it's like an
think of-
in-game decision, not like a. Like,
He
I'm
can't
not-
sending a dead person. Speak with
Yes.
dead is
Yeah.
a spell he can cast. It's just
Did
different.
not have it prepared.
Right.
No, I do have it prepared. I'm an idiot, is what it is. So
I actually
I would-
went and checked whether you had speak with dead yet, like just
This
a bit
is
ago.
like when you forgot to use your shield for the first
No. I just thought I hadn't had it prepared, but it's one of the ones that I have always prepared as a knowledge cleric. So that's why I don't change it.
I just wanted to make sure like you're aware it was
Ah.
an option and it wasn't just like if it was an in-game like role-playing decision. I totally get it. I just want to make sure like out of game like you were aware.
When you say, "Oh, talk to the spirit of the dead person," Burwood is thinking, "Talk to their spirit, not talk to
Right.
their body." Right. So it's very much like that's how he's tried to communicate with the dead before, not in this way. But that is something that like he will, in character, have been like, I wonder if there is a way, and have looked through his book and then been like, oh right, I totally do know how to do that. This is a different thing. And in the morning, yeah, I will be casting Speak with Dead. Probably before Vieric and Tobias are awake.
Well, I mean, Rick is going to hear something going on and be like, huh, what?
Yeah. But the thing is, it's I don't know if it'll work.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
And this, I was checking this.
Mm-hmm.
Languages.
Mm-hmm.
In my logic, it only knows the languages it knows. It knew.
Yeah.
You can...
It's not concentration.
It's not concentration.
That is correct. Tongues is also not
So what happens?
Oh.
You lay out your the body. You start preparing to cast this spell. I know it's an action, but of course you are taking a lot more time with it. You've not done it before. When you do, the creature sort of does contort on the ground a little bit. It's kind of curled up and it's bound. It does kind of move and shake, and kind of a blackish mist comes out of its mouth that makes the vague form of a bird, of an aarakocra. The light goes dark in the room. The sun barely comes through the windows, and it just starts sort of trying to speak in its language that you don't speak. They're coming out very grasping and breathless, and then it all starts to make sense. It isn't really saying anything, but you know that you've created the link you need.
Yeah. What happened to you?
I was flying in the plains, and I returned. I felt ill and tired. I was exiled.
The plague. Is that why you were exiled?
We don't weigh down our kin.
Do you know... Did you have contact with anyone in the city here?
It kind of looks around the room. Its eyes are like blue pinpoints of the same kind of magic Virik sometimes casts. I have no... This wooden tomb holds me now.
And... where did you fall?
I flew until my wings broke. I fell over the green.
And... did you come from east of the mountains?
Yes. Yes.
Is this plague that you contracted from there?
At this point, it does not answer.
Did you contract the plague there?
It does not answer. It does not speak.
Burwood's gonna try, because he's never done this before, so he doesn't know if he's just asking questions that he doesn't know, or... Are you at peace?
It looks at you, and then all of a sudden this kind of disappears. The room kind of creaks, and, you know, the bowl from last night's dinner kind of rattles on the table. The body kind of... almost like, you know, a defibrillator. Like, it kind of jolts, but then goes back to being still.
I'm gonna relay all of that information to Eleanor, who I assume was sitting intently being like, I don't understand any of this.
Yeah, this is
Well,
kind
you
of...
would have understood what I was asking.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, you were speaking in common.
Yeah, exactly.
It just
Well,
understood you.
Probably Elvish, because it would have been more natural.
But she would have understood you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm gonna cure the body of the disease,
Mm-hmm. It
as well as
doesn't.
cure those 3 of the disease because they've obviously contacted
Yeah.
it.
On the body, all of the flaked skin kind of crumples off and just turns to dust. And at that point, much more of the body kind of turns into little more than dust, leaving you with not much more than bone.
One thing I will say is, again, showing can be more powerful than telling. And showing the people this body diseased and explaining where we got it might have helped them understand. But they seem to like us. I think they'll take our word regardless, but he deserves peace.
He does deserve peace, and I think we can show the people that what we're doing is to help them by curing them and by actually helping them.
I agree. It's just a difficult thing. Especially if, say, some officials who also have goodwill with the community step forward and try to discredit us.
Well, at least they'll reveal themselves.
At least they would reveal themselves.
And I will cure the plague too, because I know you've definitely contracted it.
Yes.
Mhm.
One thing I'll say,
Elevate.
maybe it might. I think we'll probably contract it again. I will certainly contract it again because I will be helping people.
I thought about letting us stay with it for a little while longer, but we were in an area of like really bad concentration, particularly me and Varric, so
Once you and I start helping people again, leave me with it for some time. Don't bother, because I will continue to heal people and I will continue to be in contact with it. There's just no point. We should do it intermittently, but I'm saying don't do it every day, because that would be a waste of your energy. And
remember when you said this, sometimes you want the hangover because you feel bad about it, and that makes you feel better. I'm worried that this is one of those things, and that's not healthy for Root.
what this is understanding that you can help more people by not curing me.
Right, and I agree, but I'm also concerned that it's not really why you're doing it.
I don't
And-
want to die, Eleanor. I want you to cure me of it before I die, at the very least, please.
I'm gonna cure you of it if you look at all ill.
If it gets to a point where you are able to help people better, I will cure myself.
I'm not gonna argue over your health.
Look, you and I are both, to some extent now,
This is a ridiculous argument, Root.
to some extent, you and I are both professionals.
I'm gonna go heal the other boys.
in a medical environment.
I walk off to go heal
I
the
trust
others.
your judgment.
You go off into the other tavern room. He walks with you, speaking at you.
I trust your judgment, so if you see me at a point where I think I can keep going and you don't think I can keep going, cure me. I'm not arguing.
Of course.
I'm saying that I trust you, and that I want you to know that. It matters to me that you know that I trust you, and that I'm not mad at you for any action you've taken.
Why would you be mad at me? I've done nothing wrong.
You know why I might have been mad at you, because I argued with you about it for far too long. And you know
argue with everybody about everything for far
No.
too long.
I don't. I don't argue with people, I discuss with people, and you know that there is a difference. You are not.
From
You're
the other
arguing with
room,
me about
you just
arguing.
hear me yell, oh my god, I'm trying to sleep.
Wake up then. Stop trying to sleep, because you're not going to, because we're going to keep talking very clearly, because you two need to be cured of your disease now.
The only thing I need to be cured of is this headache that seems to be continuously growing within my head.
Well,
over the
you're sick
past
with the
couple
plague,
days.
so
That is very likely a symptom.
That's not a very nice thing to call Baruit, but I agree.
Baruit's gonna slap you. Like, hard this time, not even trying to hold back at all.
Point of damage.
Okay, what's the plan once you heal the boys, have your far too long argument over breakfast.
Our discussion.
Discussion.
I know a couple of people who like to have discussions.
So, should we try
Are
and
we
find
gonna keep
Womp,
healing
and I
people
do
in
the
the city?
mind illusion.
We need to. It's the only way it eradicates, and it's the only way that we appear to not have figured anything out yet.
If you want to spend some downtime in the city, I could easily assume that you and Eleanor, as well as maybe doing some other stuff, are going around using your spell slots healing people most of the time. If you wanted to do that.
Could do that. I could be trying to find the person that we saw, that I got the minor illusion.
Yeah, he's gonna do some investigations.
Oh, are you
Yeah.
actually gonna gather information this time?
Yes.
To be going on an investigative run, we need to be doing a healing run. The other thing I'm going to be doing, Ollie, because this is something that I hinted towards that I needed some downtime
Yes.
in the city.
Which is one of the reasons why I brought it up.
Yes, and I appreciate that. I just wanted to make sure I was explaining what that was.
I wanted you to be sure that I was sure.
Yes. Well, don't worry. We're on the same wavelength. So, I am going to be writing some letters to lore keepers that I have had contact with in every major city that I've been to. I am going to be also putting together copies of my books of our adventures thus far, to the extent where I will be sending a copy of the book to each of the cities that I've spent time in, as well as writing a letter to indicate these are the true events of our happenings up until this point in time. And I will be adding a slight set of words at the end of each letter, asking that instead of payment for these, and they can replicate them and distribute them, and instead of payment, if they do not hear from me again within a month, that they will need to destroy every record of the ferryman's existence on this plane. And they will need to reach out and eradicate his name from this plane of existence.
Okay.
If they don't hear from me in a month.
Now, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the book?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because if you're going to be actually writing up the definitive issue 1,
Yep.
gonna need a name.
Yep. And it's his story of Jarviskjir thus far, and a major influence of why he went there was the stories that he was told, the bardic tales that came across the sea. And I think the perfect title has been the title all along. The title will be Here Be Heroes.
Ah.
That's the name of the movie.
I think Hurl Giant may have said it as well in, like, episode 2. Like, just so you know, we've already done the name of the movie, but I like it.
Which is why, and that's where he's actually pulling it from, is from Pearl Giant, and he will actually also be sending a copy up to the north, to lend
To the Greyfists.
to the Greyfists, so that they see and that they have it. That letter will not indicate anything with regards to...
So, writing out a whole book.
Yes.
Now, you are slightly faster at this because it's your book and you have lore keeping. One of the reasons lore keeping exists is that it actually speeds up writing of new books, because printing presses exist so rarely. Most books are repeated by people, so it's monks,
And-
priests, and things doing it out.
Rowan is actually going to ask for Nyx's help with this, as he has ink and scripting
He
magics.
is a scribing demon,
Exactly.
a scribing devil.
And
So
I'm not going to ask him to write the letters, because I don't actually want him to know what I'm writing in those letters about the ferryman.
yeah, just writing out the books. That's actually gonna. So I was gonna say it takes you a week to do 1, in which case that's gonna take you a week to do 2. So can you actually give me the list of places you want to send books and how many books you want to make now?
Give me a minute.
Yeah.
I need to look at the map.
Yeah, exactly. So, in fact, you can actually do that next time, because this is the end of the session, and we're going to do downtime next week.
Yeah, that actually works. Now I can think about what I want to do with my downtime, because I have no clue. But
Because it's going to take multiple weeks, so if you want to not immediately go into investigations, you could. You know, you
want
could
to
go
point out
around
as-
shopping, you could go around looking for work, for money. There's lots of things to do.
I might actually make it 3 months for that time period as well, not 1 month, just because of travel time for the books. Now that I'm looking at everything and all that.
Yeah.
But we can talk about how long that would actually take, because that 1 month was just I'm throwing that out there as a, But anyways, doesn't matter. But the other thing is, I'm not going to be telling any of the other party that I'm adding that bit at the end. I'm just going to be telling them about the distribution of the book.
I'm gonna do some pit fighting.
Yeah, you are.
We know. All right. Well, with that, we can deal with all of that next week. I love periods of downtime, so that's always fun. But let's come to the end of today's session. So we will come to that next week, and we will start right now our end of episode Circle of Shame, starting with Dungeon Dad. Up in the top right corner.
That was a good American accent.
There was a character in the Wednesday show that was a very good American accent too. He was called Roscoe. He was a Dragonborn.
Yeah, I guess I should speak now. Words. Hello,
Please
that's
do.
me, Dad Josiah. I have a YouTube channel about D&D. You can find me on YouTube. Just look up Dungeon Dad. It's gonna be right there. Also, weird thing that I forgot to mention last week, because this is kind of exciting. I'm currently working on a really obnoxious concept album of over-the-top synthwave music, with each song named after and inspired by a cantrip from D&D called Cantrips.
It's real good, by the way. It's like
Glad you enjoy it.
actually very catchy.
Yeah.
Not quite Dean Cuddy catchy, but
I've been singing Dean songs to my cat. That's how catchy it is. If it's getting sung to my cat,
I went on a date last night, and I actually introduced her to Dean Cuddy music.
that album is all about heartbreak. So I just want to know that's a bit of a foreshadow.
No. It's more just that it's off kilter, and it seems like kind of.
Yeah, this is a real
And
Chekhov's
also-
Dean Cuddy situation.
I just also want to tell everybody about Dean Cuddy because he's a. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's cool.
We
Continue
have
to
talented
derail my
friends,
self-promotion
and-
to talk about more talented people. Thanks, Will.
I don't know
Don't
about
worry.
more talent.
When you talk about your book, I'll be sure to bring up how George R.R. Martin also was writing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't think that that's quite the same scale of difference. I am so much further below George R.R. Martin than you are from Dean Cuddy.
I take that as an immense compliment because you're a talented writer. Anyways, we can make out later, but
Yeah.
for
Well, I mean,
now,
what do you want to do? Make out about it?
no.
Silence.
When Canadians argue.
You're not wrong. Anyways, you can find that album that exists. It's not an album yet. It's 2 songs. I have a YouTube channel where that's going up. Also SoundCloud, all that crap. It's under-
Please put it on Spotify when you're done, because that's the only place I listen to music. Because
I
I'm
am,
the
and
bad
that's-
ones.
And that's the thing, is Spotify is this weird thing. You can't actually upload music. You have to go through a distributor.
Yeah.
So once the album is done, which is hopefully going to be by the end of the month, I'm going to put all the other 10 tracks out at once. The 2 singles are out. The other 10 tracks should be done by the end of the month. I'm going to put it all up on YouTube, all up on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. But for now, if you want a little taste, just go on, you can find it on Twitter, or if you go on YouTube, it's under Chill Touch is the channel name, which is also a cantrip, but that sounded like the most namesakey appropriate one. Anyways, that's my rant / argument with Will.
That's my goal for today.
It's been it's gonna be
Argue with-
to argue with everyone. You haven't argued with Tesh.
Not yet.
That's impossible.
I know, it's just too much of a delight. I can't do it.
Speaking
Tell
of a
them
delight, next in the circle of shame is Aaron.
Aw, I'm Aaron. I'm tired. I drove for 7 hours today and then played D&D,
Oh,
where I got berated over moral issues.
that's just a part of D&D. That's just it.
It
That's
really
just,
is. I feel
if
like
you're not
I do
having
it
a-
more than some PCs.
It's because you are argumentative yourself.
It's because you're
I am
playing.
not.
you
you're
build argumentative characters.
I am
sorry.
not sure.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Do I have a
That's
thing
what I
to
do.
say about
Look,
that?
you want to make out about it?
She's not Canadian, Will. You can't just say that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Right. Do you want to fist fight Josiah about it?
Why would I fight on your behalf?
You know,
I
for
like
honor.
people in America more than anything, but that's what I do. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.
Tesh!
Hi, I'm Tesh.
Hey,
You find me under
I
the-
really wonder what you've been doing recently. I haven't been hearing constantly about it at all.
So let me tell you about this little game called Anthem.
Tell me,
Yeah,
Tash, what is Anthem?
Tell you a story, so sit right down.
Yeah, I've been
Uh-uh.
playing a lot of Anthem on
Sit right
stream,
there.
and I'm going to now try and edit that into videos.
Oh, how much?
That's
How
gonna
how
be hard.
hour-wise? How long have you been playing?
A lot. Like there was
Like-
a day where I did nothing but sleep and play Anthem on stream.
Like 30 hours?
No,
40?
streaming not that long because I did do some stuff off stream. I think I'm probably just gonna grab each mission individually and put that up.
It's still just
Oh,
the
like
beta,
the
right?
campaign.
The full game.
No, it's out. It came out the other day.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
the-
that.
It came out a
people
couple
who
of days
have
ago.
Premium access get it a week early, but it's basically a beta because we still don't even have the day one patch. The day one patch comes out on the 22nd.
Copy that. Okay.
But yeah, so that's what I've been doing under the chest tube on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So go follow me in the places and things.
William.
Hi, I'm an argumentative bitch.
I should have started with that.
You can find
No
me
comment.
over on twitch.tv/WillAndGraham. You can actually find all the links for me down there. The big exciting thing that's going on, as Josiah mentioned before, is that I am writing a book right now. I am going to eventually be putting the first chapter for that out on Patreon. So when you guys have time, go and check that out. There's actually some short stories on there already that you can read through. They're set in the same universe, so if you want to kind of get a feel for the world that I'm building, you can do that over on Patreon. That's pretty much it at this point. I will say, I sent these guys all a copy of the first chapter, and I know that at least 2 of them have read it. I don't know who else, if at all. Ollie
I'll never
hasn't
tell.
had time, and I know that. So
It's like so to go back to Dean. The Spotify gave him analytics of who's listened to his album where, and me and Neil and Ian all live. Me and Neil live in the same area, and it's like, oh, here, one person's listened to it, and I was just like,
oh gosh.
felt like one of those.
But when you have a chance to read it, Ollie, I look forward to hearing your opinion.
Look, it's 2019. It's a lot of mental effort to read a book.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're just waiting for the audiobook version for me to just.
I will
read the
probably
entire-
actually
That's
listen
just
to the
well.
audiobook.
This is.
And I don't listen to audiobooks either. I just
Yeah,
like.
Are
the
you gonna
idea.
read it?
I'm gonna read my own book, and I'm gonna.
Oh,
read
that's
my own book
awesome.
out
I
of it.
love that
That's
idea.
It's something that I'll have to discuss with the publisher, but yeah.
The other
Go ahead.
option is get it on my phone and read it when I'm on the toilet.
It's on Discord. You can. It's a PDF. Your phone should be able to read PDFs.
That's a fucking plan, mate.
I,
That's a fucking modern day solution.
There you go. And yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Actually, thinking about it, I want to talk to you guys about that after, if that's okay. You don't need to say it now because I don't want you to say publicly.
No.
Oh, it's the fucking worst. Never write again.
I mean, you're no George R.R. Martin, but it's
Certainly
okay.
not. Passable is all I'm going for here, really.
I only ever
That's
aim for a C.
But Ollie, what have you been busy with?
I can't really say. But what I can say is that this show is one of many. If you like Jarviskjir, if you like the way I do things, I like the way I do things, you should too. There's another show that's happening on Wednesdays. That is at 7 p.m. GMT. That is it's a pirate game right now. It's not always been a pirate game. Right now it's a pirate game. So that's a lot of fun. Happening quite a bit back in time, especially if you're going to spend a long time here. All the timelines are going to kind of wibbly wobble. But happening in the same setting, different place. Actually in Tron, where you were mentioning that you might end up going through words. This show is supported by Patreon. If you support on Patreon for $5 or more, there is a third Jarviskjir show, which has some of my greatest friends. None of them are here. you need to, get up them rankings. They're about to fight their final boss. They're big bad evil guy. So if you want to hear that, like Tuesday on Patreon for $5 or more, yes, Tesh, they are.
I just realized that's what the BBEG was.
That's what BBEG means, big bad evil guy. That's a D&D phrase.
Do I need to fight Neil and Ian for your affections?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's how friendship works.
Okay. I gotta come to England.
Dude,
Hold on.
Man, if you did.
Let me dust off my boxing
You a
gloves.
training montage of Will just like getting huge.
Bum, bum, bum. No, I am in bad shape right now. It is not the time.
Also related. Bleh. There's a vampire game also for $5 or more, which is Chaos. Yeah, right? Vampire the Masquerade. That's a vampire. There you are. That's if you like that. If you like that, what's going on over there? Patreon, $5 or more. And I also put other stuff on my Patreon about my illustrations that are connected to a game I am making, set in Jarviskjir. Don't get excited. It's gonna take me like 4 years. But
I'm still so fucking excited for that game.
it does mean I am doing more Jarviskjir related illustrations that have insight into the setting in general, or parts that are never going to get shown in a game like this, and sometimes characters, sometimes NPCs in these games are going to be very important in the game, which is very interesting to me. And I stream that at about 9 p.m. every other day that we're not doing another stream. I'm going to be doing a lot more of illustrations for that. So I usually answer D&D questions around then, about my style of DMing, about my homebrew and stuff, which is also some really exciting homebrew. If you like my homebrew, that's all on my website. I just added the Blood Mage class. The Blood Mage class is open and free. Use it if your DM allows you. It's a lot of fun. I particularly recommend The Witch. The Witch is great. And that's me, pretty much. I'm going to go make a bacon sarnie. So
Reasonable.
yeah, so at the end of a stream like this,
Strong ending,
I get
strong
real
ending.
tired, and I'm like, I went downstairs during the last break, and I saw the bacon, and I saw the processed cheese, I saw the bread, and I thought, I've got something here. So
No, there might just be a solution to this problem.
You know, weirdly enough, that's how I felt after the first session of this D&D campaign. I saw Tesh, I saw Ollie, I saw Will, and I thought,
yeah, Erin was a premium ingredient added later.
yeah.
Olive on top.
When you finish a sandwich and you go to a deli and like they put together the sandwich, you got all the core ingredients, and then they just put it on the plate and they stick a skewer into it with the delicious juicy pickle on top. And that is Aaron.
I'll also accept dipping sauce.
Did you just call Aaron a pickle?
Yes.
Okay.
Look, we've been fighting today. It's fine.
You know what? Just to stop all of this, we're gonna go now.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. Please.
See you
By the
later.
way, Aaron, I love you. I'm sorry for fighting with you today.
For the record, I hate you all.